My favorite part about Valentine's Day is not the romance, not the chocolates, not the sales, just the pink and red everywhere. I love doing a really cute, girly pink and red look from head to toe. Keep watching for a tutorial on how to do this makeup look. Oh, and before we start, don't forget to subscribe and thumbs this video up. I've been using the Kiro Just Rollin Sculpting Primer recently. It has definitely started to give me a smoother finish around my mouth, which is normally very crusty because it's dry. And because it's a grippy primer, my foundation adheres really well and goes on very smoothly on top of it. Then I use this e.l.f. concealer pen to color correct around my mouth. It's a very slight peachy color. It's not orange because for my skin tone, orange is too dark. For foundation, I'm using the Maybelline Lumi-Matte foundation because I want a really nice sort of demi-matte kind of a base, and this is exactly what that gives me. It lasts for a long time and doesn't get super oily, but at the same time, it also kind of looks glowy and natural. And for concealer, I'm using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer because it's a shade light for me and the foundation tends to oxidize to one shade darker. So this kind of offsets that and takes care of it for me. I've realized that when it comes to blending in creamy products like contour and blush, a damp sponge works a lot better than a brush because it kind of spreads and blends it more evenly and just gives a more diffused finish, which is what we want. And now it's time to set everything in place, for which I'm using the Huda Beauty Easy Bake. And I'm just using a very thin layer because this NARS concealer doesn't really need that much powder to keep it in place. And I do make sure to put it on my eyelids as well, because otherwise if I put my eyeshadow directly on like this tacky eyelid, it might kind of become patchy. And for the rest of my face, I'm using a brush because I don't want a super matte finish. So rather than a sponge, a brush is a better choice. I needed a little bit extra coverage on a couple of breakouts, so I'm using the Studio Fix powder foundation from MAC to kind of cover that up with a brush. This is a really good way to add a little extra coverage after you've already finished setting your base and you don't want to add more cream product on top. And then I'm using the NARS Laguna bronzing powder to do a very subtle contour. As you can tell from the movements of my brush, I'm not doing a very precise focused one. I'm just doing a very light hand, and that's going to keep things looking pretty natural while still giving a little bit of definition. And I'm also using this same product to contour my nose as well. So setting my base did take away a little bit of that blush. It covered it up. So I'm just sort of topping up the blush a little bit with this beautiful powder blush from Typsy, which by the way, I have been absolutely loving because the formula is pigmented but also blended. They have 4 colors and all of them are really beautiful. And of course, now no glowy look is complete without highlighter. This is one of my favorite highlighters, the Anastasia Beverly Hills X Amrezy one. Unfortunately, it was a limited edition one, so it's not available anymore. And now it's time for the eyeshadow. And I'm starting with this warm, peachy kind of a nude color. I'm doing a wash of this over my eyelid, also blending it into my crease with a very light hand. So this is going to be our transition color, and it's going to make it easier to blend all the other colors and make it look more seamless if we do this first. Now I'm going into this beautiful medium pink color from this Nika eyeshadow quad in Wine and Dine, and I'm applying it on my eyelid and lightly blending it into the crease. Now this I'm blending it slightly lower compared to the transition color that we first put down so that we can still see some of that transition color. So for all of this, I'm using a fluffy brush because I just wanted to look very diffused and blended out. Now I'm going to take an angled fluffy eyeshadow brush into this darker cool pink, and I'm going to apply this on the outer edge of my eyelid and sort of sweep it outwards like a wing. That gives it that sort of sexy blown out kind of a look, but it's softer than eyeliner, which keeps with what I'm going for today. I realized that the red was kind of blending in with the base color and not popping as much as I wanted. So I went back into the same palette but went for this pink color instead. This also has a very similar foiled kind of a formula as the red one. Oh my gosh, the pigmentation of these is just incredible. Like the Huda Beauty eyeshadow palettes, they are hyped for a reason. And now I'm just going back in with that darker pink on that angled fluffy brush to spruce up that definition on my outer eyelid since it got covered up a little bit with the pink glitter. And I'm also adding a little bit of it on my lower lid just so that it looks cohesive and connected. Time for eyeliner, and instead of going for a liquid liner, I'm gonna go for a kohl. This is the Kiro Beauty Gel Kajal. It's a really good long-lasting one, and I'm just gonna apply it really close to my eyelashes. Now to enhance that sort of soft, cute kind of a look that we're going for, I'm gonna be using a white kohl pencil on my lower waterline. Time for mascara. I always curl my lashes before I apply mascara because my lashes are naturally naturally very straight. And I'm using this Stays 99 mascara, which is waterproof and it is tubing mascara, so it's really easy to remove it at the end of the night. And now I'm just finishing off the eyeshadow look with a little bit of highlighter on the inner corner, which really makes a big difference in my opinion. It just kind of opens up the eyes and gives it that little something which, you know, it feels like it's missing without it. Now it's time for lips. So I am first lining my lips with a pink lip liner. Then I decided to put down like this cool toned nude, which is kind of in the pinkish family, but it was feeling a little bit light, so I decided to go over that with the Maybelline lifter gloss in the shade Petal, which is this gorgeous pink shade. I think this was the perfect choice because just look how beautifully it pulled together the whole look. And of course, perfume. It's fitting that I'm using a pink perfume. This is Latafa Yara, which has this really gourmand and sweet but not too overwhelming scent. It's one of my favorites. Valentine's Day felt like the perfect time to debut this heart-shaped pendant that I got from Eleanor Jewels. I am layering it with another one from them, and I also decided to add this really feminine vintage watch. And that is my finished Valentine's Day glam. All the products that I'm using will be mentioned in the description box down below with the links. If you enjoyed that tutorial, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more such educational beauty content and give this video a thumbs up. That really helps me out.